Hello, Jared Kennedy here with Lime Realty, and on this video today, I really want to talk about the dangers of overpricing. One of the things that we most commonly see in the real estate market are sellers who want to overprice. And I'm going to give you a little bit of history. One, I have 16 years of broker experience. I have overseen thousands of transactions and myself personally sold hundreds of homes. That said, even 15, 16 years ago, we have always run into the same thing. And that is, sellers have this idea when you're listing your home, and I understand as a homeowner myself, we all kind of want to do this, where we say, you know what, let's start the price high so we've got room to come down, room to negotiate. And what I can tell you unequivocally throughout all of my career in real estate, this is the worst possible thing you can do if your goal is to make as much money as possible and keep as many dollars as you can in your pocket. One of the things that has made this even incredibly more common today than what we've seen in the past are what we call the unrealistic expectations of the COVID market. So here in Oklahoma City specifically, during COVID, before COVID hit, we were the #1 most affordable housing market in America of major metros, 250,000 people and above. So, you know, that's putting us in with a lot of towns. A lot of different metro areas. So when you really consider Oklahoma City being the most affordable, essentially metro housing market in all of America, our prices had a lot of room to grow. Because the inverse of that is, as of the last census, we're the 19th largest city in America. So 19th in population and size, but yet we're still coming in at like 412th in cost of housing. So that those two things were bound to come together at some point, or at least get a little bit closer. After COVID, we are still, we've seen a massive bump in average sales price in our market, but we're still the second most affordable housing market in America, behind only Memphis. And so what that means to us is our prices still have some room to go up, but they are starting to come back to where they are, come around to where they should be. And that is due to, in COVID, our prices just skyrocketed here. And unfortunately, when that happens, we were a recipient of what's now been nationally called the Great California Migration, where someone could sell a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 800 square foot home in California for $1 million, move to Oklahoma, buy a $500,000 house that, by the way, against those standards is a mansion, and still have $500,000 left over. And so what we saw were all of these cash-heavy buyers enter our market and overpay for houses. So what we saw in 2020 through 2022 were people consistently paying $50,000 more than what a house would appraise for. In some cases, even more. But unfortunately, we do not live in that market anymore. And over my entire career, those were the only 2 years where I would say, you know what, price as aggressive as you want on the high side, and we'll see what we can do. By the way, the Kennedy Heat and Realty team, me and my fiance Kelly, we work our butts off to sell your house for the highest possible dollar, no matter what you list at. But what I do want you to be armed with is the knowledge on how to make the most money. And again, that is pricing right. Pricing slightly below comps, generating high interest. We want you to be in the best possible position. And so when we talk about the dangers of overpricing, here's what we're really looking at. One, factor in your carrying costs. The amount of time it takes you to sell and the cost that is incurred in doing that. If it takes you 3 months, 4 months, 5 months to sell. One of the other big dangers in overpricing is just simply you miss the market. And what we mean by when we say miss the market is your best chance to maximize your money in real estate is to sell within the first 14 days of hitting the market. So if you price really high or on the high end, your chance of selling in the first 14 days is almost zero. So your chance of maximizing your investment becomes almost zero when you overprice. Now, here are the reasons why that's important. And here's the reason why you never want to start high so you have room to come down or room to negotiate. Once you're moving down, all we can guarantee is that down is where you will go. When you take that strategy, you are all but guaranteeing down is the direction you're going to go. And it's as simple as putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer. When you bought your house or when you're out there shopping for a home or buying a home, one of the things that we find every buyer we work with does is once a home has started off high and reduced its price into their market, into the market it should be, now they may finally want to see it. Now, here's the problem. Most of the buyers that were in that market or that really wanted a house in that neighborhood, they've already bought. You missed that part of the market. But the ones still waiting are the ones looking for a deal. They're the ones that need every one of their closing costs paid for. That's why they couldn't get the house that listed 2 months ago at the right price, because they needed a seller that was willing to come out of pocket a lot. So what they do is they come to us and they say, Jared, Kelly, I saw this one, it's in the neighborhood we've been looking at, they finally lowered their price. And then everyone says the same thing, and you might be thinking it right now. They say, they must be desperate. And how low do you think we can get it for? Do not position this way. And it's not that hard to just think, if I'm positioned as desperate and how little will he take, then I'm clearly not going to make the most for my house. So not only do they do that, but they also needed all their closing costs paid. They know when they need all their closing costs paid, they can't shop at the front of the market. They can't shop at the front of the line. They can't go after the well-priced house that everyone wants, because they go, gosh, it's priced so good and it's so nice. There's no way we're gonna get our closing costs paid. But when you overprice and you decide so you've got room to negotiate and come down later, once you finally do get to that price, those are the buyers you are now in the pool of. The people that need everything and that want the best possible deal. It's for lack of a better way to put it, it's terrible marketing positioning, or market positioning. What we really want to do is we want to find that sweet spot price for you. We want to come look at your home. We want to look at it compared to the comps. We want to get a feel for it. We want to know everything you love about it. And then we want to come up with a competitive price that's not the highest possible list price, but it'll net you the highest possible sales price in your pocket, where you are dictating the terms of your sale. You are not paying exorbitant closing costs for a buyer, and where you make the most of your transaction and your investment. So again, Jared Kennedy with Lime Realty. These are the dangers of overpricing. It's all about positioning. You lose all the impulses, and we just want to make sure that if you're working with us, you are netting the most possible, and we hope to save you thousands of dollars. Again, until the next video, I'll talk to you later. Bye.